Hey guys, Ramen here with Team Legit. Today we're going to be looking at the Baby Hawk from Emax, and this thing just got released today, and the entire shop has just been shipping these things out non-stop for the past 24 hours. They're incredibly popular, and there's a good reason for it. It's an 85mm 2-cell brushless quad for $100, and you really can't beat that. So I'm just going to quickly go over an unboxing, just cover some of the tech sites, and we'll just look inside of it. So first thing is the box, and there's a massive issue with this, is that it is the slowest opening box on the planet, and you sort of just hold it there and wait for it to drop, and eventually it will open. But for $100, there's a lot of things that are little issues that really you can't complain about. So inside of the box, you get some foam that you will actually be using as the quad case if you want to move places when you go flying. Go ahead and look inside, get the quad itself. It's really small. Without the prop cards, this thing is able to fit in the palm of my hand. So you guys get a small little scale idea of this. Has everything on it except a receiver, and I'll go talk about that in a second too. Also included, a whole bag of nuts. I think these are either spares, or if you decide to fly without the prop cards, there may be shorter nuts. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that seems like the most likely fit for those. You also get 2 sets in each direction of propellers, so a total of 4 propellers spare in case you break. You shouldn't be breaking too much propellers on this quad. It is protected, and I've flown this a lot. So I'm just going to quickly talk about the experience you get from this. Another quad that has been incredibly popular over the past while is the Tiny Whoop, and that's sort of been dominating the market in this sort of $100 small indoor flying quad market. But this was just released by Emax. I don't think this is a direct competitor to the Tiny Whoop. It's a slightly different flying quad. This one is a little bit better outside, and the Tiny Whoop, where it lacked because it was brushed, it didn't have power. It handled very well inside, but when you actually brought it outside, there was just really no point. I mean, you went full throttle and it'd just take ages to get across even like 10 yards of distance. This thing has a whole bunch of power, made to be run off of these 2-cell 350 milliamp batteries. So right now, at the time of these videos, these are a scarce good because we ran out of stock on these really quickly, just given people were buying 6 of them on pre-orders. But we still have the quads in batteries. You just got to get a little bit creative where you get them from. I'm sure we're going to get more of these in stock real soon. Little about this battery, it's about 5 minutes of flight time. That's if you're really conservative. It's going to be more like 2 minutes. I wasn't having any issues with the battery. It's just a standard battery, nothing special there. Receiver, I'm flying on Tyrannis, so I'm using this little XM, and Josh will cover a review of installing this receiver and a Spectrum receiver for all you guys out there that want to see how it's done. It's a little bit of work. It's a bit tight of a fit, but that's what you get on an 85mm quad. So just some other things. It's 3-blade props. I don't actually know where they're getting their props from. Emax, apparently they're very similar to a lot of the other props on the market right now, except that these ones are a proprietary design. You will not be able to replace them with any other props than the ones Emax is selling. They have 4 screws holding them in, and it's just a weird design. Flight controller is the Femto F3 flight controller. I think I'm pronouncing that right, by Emax. It's just a microscopic little design. It's not really an all-in-one unit. It's sort of a flight controller slash PDB. It's incredibly good for what it is. Another thing I didn't mention is that it's soft mounted on here. There's no actual screws holding on this flight controller. But again, with a quad that's costing as little as this, and for a flight controller that's so light, you really don't expect anything else. The camera and VTX, now that's something actually pretty interesting. This is my personal one right here, the second one that's been sitting here. I've had a lot of flights on this. I've put about, I say, maybe 12 to 20 batteries through it, and I've got a lot of information on it, just how it flies. It's incredibly good in close range, but it's not exactly the easiest thing to fly indoors. At least the places where I flew the Nano QX2, that's where this was. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the Nano QX2. It's kind of a couple months past that trend, but that was the most popular quad out there for a while. Recently, the Tiny Whoop replaced that. Tiny Whoop, you flew it in really small areas. This one, you're going to have to get a little bit bigger areas. It's not going to be going through air vents or going through those microscopic little gaps, but you're going to be able to fly this thing outside in a lot better. Now, we've had 3 of them flying at once. We didn't really have any issues with video, but we did go out to the field with me, Ian, Josh, Alex, and Johnny. So 5 people. We were never able to get all 5 of us in the air at one time. There is some issue with this video transmitter, and upon closer look, Ian was letting me know that in the manual, it does not actually reach all all of the channels. It hits all of the bands, but it doesn't go through all the channels. A good example is on the Fat Shark Classic channel. It only hits 6 out of the 8 channels. And that's in the manual. Apparently we could be wrong about that, but that's just the information we've gotten from the manual. Another thing is this quad is rated for 2-cell, but we have had one of our guys, Josh, and he was flying it for a while on 3-cell. 3-cell is a bit much for it. The motors did come down a little warm, but he was able to fly it for quite a while with no issues. Only issue he had was he went full throttle into a pole, and then he had a nice experience that camera, some sort of internal damage, completely fried the VTX and everything. And I actually have that behind me right here. We have the actual camera that came out of it. It's just a standard little thing that was very common to put on tiny whoops. So we noticed that it's really common form factor for the E-Sheen. We sell them on our website. I'll leave a link in the description. They're about $30 or something, $30, $40. All-in-one camera VTX sort of combination thing. It's the exact same form factor. He was able to put it in, which is great. So you don't have to wait or dig around for replacement parts. You'll be able to find it relatively easily. Now, other than that, this quad was just doing incredibly well. I think these are 6 amp ESCs, which is where the bottleneck for that voltage restriction is. So you can't go to 3-cell because of the ESCs. We've been okay as long as you don't weigh it down too much. Another thing we did, Ian recently tried flying it on a 1000 milliamp 2-cell. And it was a bit heavy. It wasn't too happy, but it did get triple the flight time. It's triple the size of battery. These quads are incredibly fun, and for $100, I'm actually absolutely amazed that they got the cost down that little. These are just great little quads, and if you're thinking about getting one, you're kind of on the edge, I'd say go ahead and do it, because I mean this is the price of like a flight controller and like a VTX, maybe a couple other things in like a big 5-inch race quad, and you could get a whole pre-built ready to fly quad. It's just a great little quad. Now coming up, this was just a quick sort of overview, just sort of guys, introduce you guys to this quad. I'm sure you guys have heard all about it already, but just in case you wanted more information. So in the next couple days, Josh is actually going to cover the setup video of this quadcopter. That includes installing a receiver. And if you're using FrSky and you grabbed yourself one of these XM series receivers, it's one of the easiest installations I've ever done on a quadcopter. It took me less than 3 minutes start to finish. And other than that, he's also going to cover actually putting the quadcopter inside Betaflight, which is, it comes pre-flashed with Betaflight, forgot to mention that. And he's going to show you really quick how to set it up. There's almost nothing you have to do. It's literally just get the protocol set the right way, and out of the box, this thing's pre-tuned and just ready to go. It's an incredibly fun little quad. I'll be sure to get a flight video up pretty soon, but by then, I'm sure you guys will probably all own this quad already, and you'll be flying it, so you'll be able to have your own opinion about it. Just out of my personal opinion, this is a quad that if I lost it, I'd just buy it again, same day, because this thing is just so much fun. I keep this in my car right now, charged up, ready to go at all times. You could just fly it almost anywhere. So if you guys are thinking about it, go ahead and do it. This quad's a lot of fun. Other than that, it's been Robin here with Team Legit. I'll go ahead and leave all the links in the description, and I'll go ahead and give you a list of everything else you'll need. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.